The transport ship landed with a low hum on the snowy ground of Station 12, a cold, silent outpost on the edge of human space. Dane Carter, a young human engineer, stepped off the shuttle, rubbing his gloved hands together. The wind was sharp, the sky gray, and the station ahead looked more like a prison than a research base. He had been sent here to repair the CUM's tower simple job, but something felt off the moment he stepped inside. The halls were too quiet. The lights flickered. Crew didn't greet him. They just stared, then quickly looked away. Dane walked to the command center, where Captain Rourke, a tall, cold man, stood staring at a screen. "Engineer Carter, right?" The captain said, without looking at him, double quotes, "Yes, sir. Here to fix your signal lines." Rourke nodded slowly. "Do your job, then leave." That was it. No welcome. No report. Nothing. Weird. As Dane walked through the lower halls, trying to find the main relay, he passed a soldier standing guard in front of a metal door marked Cell 9. The guard, a young woman, looked nervous. "What's in there?" Dane asked, joking. The guard didn't smile. "Nothing you need to know." "Okay." He walked a few steps. Then the guard whispered, "Don't talk to her." Dane turned. "Her?" The guard shook her head quickly. "I didn't say anything." And just like that, she turned her eyes away. That night, Dane couldn't sleep. Something kept bugging him. Who was in Cell 9? Why was everyone so scared? Around midnight, as he lay in the guest bunk, he heard it. A soft sound like someone crying. Was coming from the vents. He sat up, alert. The crying wasn't loud, just sad, like someone trying not to be heard. But it was there. He followed the sound through the halls. It got louder near Cell 9. He crouched beside the vent. The voice was quiet, shaky. Double quotes. Please. Just someone, anyone. His heart beat faster. She didn't sound like a monster. She sounded alone. The next day, he did his repairs quickly. But his mind wasn't on the wires or systems. It was on that voice. He asked another crew member, an older technician, about Cell 9. The man paled. "Don't ask. Just finish your work and go home." "Is she dangerous?" "They say she is, but I've never seen her move. She just sits there. Doesn't talk. Doesn't even eat unless someone brings it." "Who is she?" The man whispered. "They call her Vila. Alien girl. Came here months ago. Said she wanted to talk. That's all. Just talk. And they locked her up. Said she was too strange. Said her eyes could make you see things, feel things. That she's not right inside." "Is she violent?" The man looked away. "I don't know. I just know they're afraid of her." That night, Dane stood outside Cell 9. The guard was gone. He looked around. Quiet. No footsteps. No alarms. He slowly stepped closer to the door. There was a small speaker on the wall. He touched it. "Hello?" He said quietly. Silence. Then, "You came." The voice was soft. Female. Tired. He swallowed. "Are you Vela?" A pause. "That's the name they gave me. I don't remember my real one anymore." "Why are you locked in here?" "Because I'm not like them. And because I speak the truth." "What truth?" Another pause. "That the end is coming? Not through war, but silence. And I was sent to warn them. But they feared my voice more than the silence." Her words were strange, poetic, but filled with pain. "I heard you crying," Dane said. "I cry so I don't forget how to feel." She whispered, "Because when you're alone too long, even your heart forgets." Dane leaned against the door. His throat felt tight. "You don't sound like a threat." "I'm not," she said. "I'm just a girl who wanted someone to." "Listen." The next day, Dane Carter couldn't focus. He was supposed to finish fixing the station's backup relay. but his hands moved slowly. His mind was still stuck on the voice from Cell 9, Vila, the girl who didn't sound like a threat, the girl who only wanted someone to listen. Dane returned to the lower levels. The halls were quiet, colder than before. The metal door of Cell 9 stood like a wall of silence. He glanced around. No guard today. Maybe they thought no one would be foolish enough to visit her. He moved closer. There was a small glass window on the top corner of the cell, foggy from the inside. He wiped the dust with his sleeve. At first, he saw nothing. Then she moved, slowly, like waking from a long sleep. A slim figure, pale skin like frost. Dark hair fell over her shoulders. She sat cross-legged on the cold floor, wrapped in a thin blanket. Her hands rested on her knees, glowing faintly with blue light. And then she looked up. Their eyes met through the glass. Her eyes were like nothing he'd ever seen. They shimmered, like deep space full of stars. Sadness, and something older than time. Dane stepped back, heart racing. She didn't speak. Just watched him. No fear. No anger. Just quiet. He pressed the intercom. Vila? Her head tilted slightly. Then her voice came through the speaker. You returned. I wanted to see if you were okay. A pause. No one ever checks on me, except the soldier with the food tray. And she never looks at me. Dane felt something tighten in his chest. This place is wrong, he said. Everyone acts like you're dangerous. Maybe I am, Vala said softly. You don't sound like it. She smiled, but it was a sad smile. Fear doesn't care about truth. It only cares about control. Dane looked through the glass again. Where are you from? A place that's gone now. What happened? Vila's voice dropped. I warned them too. They didn't listen. Now the sky there burns. He was silent. She leaned forward, pressing her palm gently to the glass. Do you believe in listening, Dane Carter? Or are you just curious? He stepped closer. I believe. Loneliness is worse than danger. Vila blinked. You understand. For the first time, her hand glowed brighter. A warm blue pulse ran through her fingers, like light flowing through crystal. Dane stared at it, mesmerized. I've never seen anything like you, he whispered. You haven't, she said, because they don't let people like me speak. Suddenly, a harsh voice called from behind. Step away from the door. Dane turned. Captain Rourke stood at the end of the hall, hand on his sidearm. You were told to leave her alone. I was fixing the wiring, Dane lied quickly. Just checking noise levels. Don't lie to me. Rourke's eyes burned. You're not cleared for Cell 9 access. She's not a guest. She's a threat. Dane hesitated. She doesn't seem dangerous. Rourke stepped closer. You think you see a poor little alien girl, but I've seen her affect minds. I've seen men question orders, lose focus. She's not what she looks like. She hasn't done anything to me. Yet, Rourke growled. Don't be her. Next victim. Vela's voice came quietly through the speaker. He's afraid of questions. That's why he silences me. Rourke moved fast. He slammed the panel and cut the intercom. Enough, he said. Go back to your post, now. Dane clenched his jaw but obeyed. That night, he sat in his bunk, staring at the ceiling. His thoughts raced. Her voice haunted him. The way she said, burning sky, the sadness in her smile, the blue light from her hand. None of it felt like manipulation. It felt like truth. He opened his comms tablet and searched the restricted logs. After a few minutes of bypassing locked files, he found it. Arrival report. Vila, unknown species, voluntarily surrendered. Stated intention to warn. The rest of the report was blacked out, buried. Erased. Dane leaned back. They called her a threat, But all the facts said something else. She didn't try to escape. She never resisted. She spoke. And they locked her up. Now. He had a choice to make. Listen. Or walk away. And deep down, he already knew what he'd choose. Dane Carter woke early. He hadn't slept much. The voice of Vela stayed in his mind, soft, strange, powerful. She wasn't like anyone he had ever met. Not just because she was alien, but because she felt real. And he still didn't understand why she was locked away. That morning, he walked past the control room where Captain Rourke stood alone, staring at security footage. The captain didn't say a word as Dane passed, just gave him a cold look. Dane didn't care. He had a plan. He returned to Cell 9, but this time, he brought something. A small communicator, hidden, untraceable. He waited until the hallway was clear, then quickly plugged the device into the old intercom system near Vela's cell. It sparked softly and connected. Vela? He whispered. There was silence. Then, you came back. Her voice warmed slightly, like soft rain after a dry season. I had to, Dane said. I need to know the truth. Tell me everything. Why are you here? There was a long pause. Then slowly she began. My world was not like yours, she sighed. We did not grow through machines. We grew through memory, through feeling. Dane sat beside the wall, listening. We could hear thoughts, not all, just feelings. Pain, fear, hope, and over time, we learned to calm them, heal them. That became our way. But peace made others angry. Powerful ones, or feeders. Dane nodded silently. They came from the dark corners of space machines, metal, fire. They destroyed our sky, turned our oceans to glass. You mean invaders? Dane asked. Yes, but not just from outside. Some of our own betrayed us. For power. She stopped, then whispered. I escaped. I took a message. One last warning. I came here. And you told them? Dane asked. She laughed, bitter and quiet. I tried. I begged. But they looked at me and saw something strange. Not human. Not useful. So they locked me away. Dane clenched his fists. No one believed you? No, because believing me meant doing something hard, and fear is easier. Dane sat still for a moment, letting her words settle in. She had come with a warning. She had given it freely, and they buried it. You said there are others, like the ones who destroyed your world, Dane said. Are they still out there? Yes, Vela said. And they are watching. Watching us? Yes, listening, testing. Dane swallowed. Then we're not safe, are we? No, she said softly. But I didn't come here to scare you. I came so you'd have a chance. Suddenly, footsteps. Someone was coming. Dane quickly turned off the communicator and stood up. Captain Rourke rounded the corner. He looked at Dane. Then, at the panel, you were talking to her again. Dane didn't answer. Rourke stepped closer. She's not your friend. She's not even your kind. She hasn't hurt anyone, Dane said calmly. Rourke's jaw tightened. You think she's harmless? Look around. Why do you think we keep this place locked down? No transfers, no contact, no records. Dane frowned. You've been hiding her. Because if Command knew we had her, they'd ask questions. Questions I don't want to answer. But she came to help, Dane said. She brought a warning, and no one listened. Rourke leaned close, voice like ice. This station is my responsibility, not yours. You're here to fix wires. So, do your job or go home. That night, Dane couldn't take it anymore. He opened the hidden communicator one last time. Vela, he said. They'll never let you out, will they? No, she said. Not unless someone helps me. I want to, he whispered. But if I open that door, they'll come for me too. A soft pause. Then be sure, Dane Carter, she said, because after this, your silence ends too. He looked down at the key code panel beside her cell dot. His hand hovered over it. Thought of her eyes, her voice, her pain dot, and he made his choice. He typed in the code. The light turned green. The lock clicked. Green light. The metal door, too. Cell 9 slowly slid open. Dane Carter stepped back, heart pounding. For a moment, he wondered if he had made a mistake. Then she stepped out. Vela. She didn't run. She didn't attack. She simply stood there, blinking softly as the hallway lights touched her pale skin. She looked smaller outside, the cell thinner. Tired, but her eyes still carried the stars. You really did it, she whispered. Dane nodded. You don't belong in a cage, she smiled faintly. No one does. He gave her a warm blanket and a small energy bar. Come on. We need to move before they notice. They moved through the empty halls, quiet and fast. Vela walked slowly, her bare feet almost silent. She looked around like everything was new. They changed the walls, she said softly. The last time I walked here, they didn't listen. They just stared. Where do you want to go? Dane asked. She stopped. I need to send a signal. If I don't warn the others now, it will be too late. Others? She nodded. There are watchers, machines without souls. They hide in deep space, scanning for weakness. They destroyed my world when we refused to join them. Dane's stomach turned. You think they're coming here? Vila's face darkened. They're already near. Suddenly the station lights turned red. LERT, unidentified ship entering orbit. Dane froze. No, not now. Overhead, heavy engines roared. The outpost began to shake. Who is it? Dane asked. Vila closed her eyes. It's not your people. It's them. The comms crackled. Captain Rourke's voice. All personnel report to lockdown. We have incoming unknown vessel. Prepare for combat. Dane turned to Vila. Can you stop them? If I speak to them first, if they hear me. He grabbed her arm. Come with me. The control room. There's a live comm signal there. We can use it. The two ran down the hallway, but a squad of soldiers appeared at the far end, armored, and angry. There she is. Stop. Dane shouted. She's not your enemy. She's trying to save us. They didn't listen. The soldiers raised their rifles. Vila stood still. She raised her glowing hand, and everything stopped. The air shimmered. The light flickered. The soldiers froze, eyes open, but unable to move. Dane stared in awe. What did you do? I slowed time for just a moment. Enough to run. He nodded. Let's go. They reached the control room. The screens showed. The enemy ship, black, sharp, floating like a shadow in space. It wasn't firing. Not yet. Vila stepped to the broadcast panel. Her hands moved fast, glowing lines flowing from her fingers into the system. She spoke not in English, but in a strange, flowing language filled with tone and light. Dane watched the monitors. The enemy ship stopped moving. Its weapons powered. Down. Its engines dimmed. Then the screen blinked. Comm link accepted. Vila turned, breathing hard. They've heard me. Dane asked, what did you tell them? That this world has a voice worth saving. That someone finally listened. Suddenly, the door behind them burst open. Captain Rourke stormed in, face red with rage, weapon drawn. You, what have you done? She stopped them, Dane shouted. She saved us. Rourke pointed the gun at Vila. She's a weapon. No, Vila said quietly. I'm a warning. Rourke stepped forward. Get away from the console now. But Dane moved between them. You don't get to silence her again. Rourke's finger twitched. Then Vila raised her hand. Not to attack, but to speak. Her voice came soft. You are not afraid of me. You are afraid of change. And for the first time, Rourke lowered his weapon. Just a little. The monitors flashed again. Enemy ship exiting orbit. Nitrogen monoxide hostile activity detected. They were safe, because she had spoken, and someone had listened. Later, as the station returned to normal, Dane stood beside Vila at the outer window. The sky above was clear. Stars blinked in the dark. What now? He asked. She looked at him. Now, others will come, and they'll want the truth. Dane smiled. Then we'll tell them together. The station was quiet again, but it wasn't the same. The emergency lights were off. The sirens had gone silent. Outside, the dark ship that once threatened them was now just a fading light in the sky. Vela had spoken, and it had listened. Dane sat beside her in the control room, still trying to understand everything. You talk to it, he said. That thing in orbit. You made it stop. Vila nodded, her glowing fingers resting on the cold console. I didn't make it stop, she said. I reminded it that humans can listen. Dane looked at her. You mean me? She smiled. Yes, you. Outside the room, tension was growing. Some crew members were asking questions. Others were whispering in corners. Captain Rourke stayed. Locked in his office, his pride cracked, but still present. He couldn't deny the truth anymore. Vila saved the station, but that didn't mean he would protect her. Dane knew it was only a matter of time, before orders came from high command. Before someone decided Vila was still a risk. So he made a decision. We have to leave, he told her. Before they changed their minds again, Vila's eyes were sad. Will they chase us? They might, but I'd rather run with you than stay with people who still don't see. She looked at him quietly. And let's go. They moved quickly. Dane accessed a docked transport shuttle, an older model, but still flight-worthy. He loaded supplies, fuel, and backup coms. Only one thing remained, the truth, before leaving. Dane went back to the command center. He uploaded Vila's recorded message to the Open Human Network. Her story, her warning, the truth about her people and the machines that hunted them. Then he looked at the camera and said, This is Engineer Dane Carter. I met someone we were never supposed to meet. I listened when no one else would. And now I see what we could become. He sent the signal into space. No more silence. Vila watched the stars through the shuttle window as they took off. The station grew smaller below them, just a dark speck on a frozen planet. You gave them the message, she said softly. Dane nodded. Now it's up to them to decide who they want to be. She turned to him. Do you regret it? He looked at her, eyes full of fire and sorrow, and something bright underneath. Not for a second. They didn't know where they'd go. Other colonies might still fear her. Some might welcome her. But one thing was certain. She wasn't a prisoner anymore. And she wasn't alone. The shuttle drifted through deep space. Stars stretched across the black like silent watchers. No alarms. No captains shouting orders. No locked doors. Just peace. Dane Carter sat at the controls. But his eyes weren't on the nav screen. They were on Vila, sitting quietly across from him. She stared out the window, watching the stars move. You're quiet, Dane said. I've never left a place without chains, she replied softly. Dane nodded. Feels different, doesn't it? She gave a slow smile. It feels free. They had no set destination, only coordinates Dane knew from old maps. Unused way stations, forgotten colonies, quiet places where they could hide, heal. Maybe even live. Vila leaned her head back. Do you think your people will listen to my story? Dane took a breath. Some will, Some won't. That's enough, she said. One listener is enough to start a change. He looked at her for a long moment. I'm not just listening anymore. I'm with you. Days passed. The signal, Bain uploaded from Station 12, began spreading across colonies, to private servers, even into military channels. Alien girl locked away for speaking truth. Engineer breaks protocol to release prisoner. The human who listened. The word spread like sparks in dry wind. Not some believed, some denied, some feared. But the silence was broken. In one colony, a group of scientists played Vila's voice on a loop. They studied her language. In another, a teacher showed her story to students, calling it the day humanity became something more. But not everyone welcomed it. Some called Dane a traitor, some called Vela a weapon, and somewhere in the dark, machines she warned about, they listened to. One night, aboard the shuttle, Dane found Vela sitting in the engine room, surrounded by dim blue lights. She was humming soft, musical, not from any human tune. He sat beside her. You okay? She nodded. Just thinking. About what? She looked at him. Her voice came like a whisper. I was never supposed to be remembered. My kind died alone, with no one to tell their story. But now, someone knows we existed. Dane placed his hand beside hers. You're not forgotten. A small tear rolled down her cheek. But even if I was, she said, I had this moment. You, the stars. The sound of someone listening. Outside, something moved across the scanners. Not a threat. A signal. Another ship. Civilian, human, friendly. They had heard the story. They were searching for truth. For her. Dane smiled. It's starting. Vila stood up, her glow a little brighter. Yes, the galaxy is waking up. They opened the comms channel. The other ship asked, Is this the one called Vela? Dane looked at her. She nodded, stepped forward and answered, Yes, I was called a threat. But I was only ever a voice. And now someone heard me. The stars waited. A story had begun. And this time no one could stop it. The end.